Rock 08 here, back once again for another video. 2000 Year in Review continues once more with WWF's Unforgiven. After a very disappointing, mediocre SummerSlam, we move into Unforgiven, and we're closing in on finding out who ran over Steve Austin. So, this whole show is about finding out who done did it. Who done did it? Who ran down Steve Austin, by God? Stone Cold during this show, you know, he's popping stunners left and right. See who did. He popped a stunner on Steve Blackman and a couple other guys. Yeah, Steve Blackman done did it. Anyways, Unforgiven is a slight up. Is slightly better than SummerSlam, but not a whole lot better. There's not a whole lot going on in this show. You have some fine matches, but nothing really to stop and say, wow, you need to watch this show. So, talking about the card here, we got the Right to Censor defeating the Dudley Boys in the APA in a pretty mediocre match. It just ends in obscurity. A 4. We have Taz defeating Jerry Lawler in a strap match. As bad as their match at SummerSlam was, they had another bad match. And this time, Raven comes in and interferes. That's right. Taz needed Raven's help to beat Jerry Lawler in a strap match. That ticks me off. A 2. Taz needs Raven's help to beat Jerry Lawler. Get the fuck out of here with that shit. Steve Blackman wins the Hardcore Championship Invitational, beating others. It was a fine Hardcore title match. Next up, we have Chris Jericho defeating X-Pac in a very solid match. Very good match. A 6 out of 10. Next up, we have the best match on the card. We have the Hardy Boys defeating Edge and Christian in a steel cage match to capture the tag team belts. The whole rivalry with the Hardys and Edge and Christian and with the Dudley Boys and all this stuff going on, this is the best tag team rivalry there was. These three teams put on every damn good tag match you could think of. And they didn't just put on great TLC matches or ladder matches or whatever. The Hardy Boys and Edge and Christian put on a great steel cage match. One of the finest steel cages you'll find in a tag team title bout. A very interesting steel cage match. You had Lita. They were doing this ladder spot. Lita does a hurricanrana off of a ladder on the outside of the cage on Christian. It was freaking nice. You had a lot of great moments, a lot of great spots. A 7 out of 10. A 7 out of 10. And yes, it was a good match. Next up, we have Eddie Guerrero defeating Rikishi to retain the Intercontinental Championship. I'll talk about Rikishi in No Mercy. But if Rikishi is the guy that you're going to done did the deed, shouldn't he just fucking squash Eddie Guerrero and become this big time heel? No, he loses to Eddie Guerrero. He loses to Eddie Guerrero and loses the Intercontinental Championship. And really, Rikishi being the guy that done did it was just dumb stupid. Anyways, I give it a 4. But I'll talk all that about No Mercy. Next up, we have Triple H defeating Kurt Angle. And the whole angle was going about the angle of Kurt Angle. The whole angle here, of course, is about, you know, Stephanie McMahon. Who is she going to choose? Triple H or Kurt Angle? And at this point in time, it's really fucking weird. Triple H is playing a babyface. That's right, Triple H is a babyface. And by the time No Mercy comes around, he is actually playing babyface here. So, it's kind of weird seeing Triple H as a babyface. It's even more awkward to see Stephanie don't join Kurt Angle. Instead, she sticks with Triple H. It was just awkward. It was an awkward finish. It was just an awkward way. When you get these stupid relationship storylines, you just know they're not going to fall through. And I really hate love triangle stories in WWE because they're just really stupid. They are stupid and they don't last long. And by the time No Mercy comes around, you know, Triple H playing one more babyface is heel again by Survivor Series. Teasing a babyface. He's still a heel, but teasing it. Kurt Angle is champion by No Mercy, and it's just not really a whole lot going on. Really, Stephanie turning on Kurt Angle to stay with Triple H is really stupid and awkward as hell. Anyways, this is still a good match. A 7 out of 10, but I prefer the Royal Rumble match later on. Next up, we have The Rock defeating Chris Benoit, The Undertaker, Kane to retain the WWF Championship in a fatal 4-way. This was a very good match. Interesting, Chris Benoit, even though we're not supposed to remember him, he once again got the championship. He beat The Undertaker. He pinned him 1, 2, 3 in the middle of the ring. Actually, not in the middle of the ring because apparently his foot was underneath the rope and the match was continued. So that was the second time in a row Chris Benoit was teased as the World Wrestling Federation champion. I don't know what the hell the whole deal was. They did this quite a bit with some guys. You know, they had Chris Jericho being teased the world champion. I guess it was the same deal. You know, are the fans going to buy Benoit or Jericho as champion? Are the fans going to be behind it? Let's see how this plays out for a little while. Let's tease it a bit here and there. And they do, but honestly, I don't know. At this point in time, you really only have the WWF about 4 guys. Steve Austin, Triple H, The Rock, and I guess Kurt Angle. Everyone else who's going to get anywhere of a spot, whether it's Jericho or Benoit or Guerrero, for God's sakes, they're not going to get anywhere. And that's one of the things that really grinds my gears about the WWE. How they push the guys. The sky's the limit with the WWE. You know, Jericho himself says WWE will never purposely bury somebody, will never purposely hurt someone. I call bullshit on that. You know, the WWE, if you are not built from Vince McMahon, if you weren't created by the Vince McMahon machine, you're not going to go anywhere. And if you go somewhere, you're still not going to be the top guy. You're still not going to be the top dog. And that's why guys like Jericho was never going to be the top guy. Yeah, sure, he was a phenomenal superstar, but he was never the top guy. Why? Because Vince McMahon didn't create him. Same thing with Benoit. Same thing with Daniel Bryan today. Same thing with CM Punk. Same thing with everything. Anyways, I give the match a 7 out of 10. Sorry about that little rant here. I'm off topic here. Overall, Unforgiven 2000 is a fine show. It's okay. But quite frankly, Fall Brawl is better. That's right. Fall Brawl 2000 WCW show is better than Unforgiven and SummerSlam. It's one of those shows where you're not missing anything. I guess you could check out the Steel Cage, you can check out the Fatal 4-Way, but really there's not really anything to just sit there and recommend and watch and watch for 3 hours. It's just a 5 out of 10. It's an show. Next up, I'll talk about ECW's Anarchy Rules and No Mercy and Halloween Havoc. See you later. Bye.